the New World Order, and the conspiracy to cover it up, the shadow government's agenda in keeping us asleep, the injustice, catastrophe, and the global chaos are all indications that we are living in a period of time known as the end of days. Are you looking for answers? They are out there, and together we will find them as we navigate through End Times Now with Bree.
How's it going, guys? Welcome to End Times Now with Bree. I'm Bree. Here, the topic of conversation that I have between me, myself, this microphone, and your ears is the end times. And if there's anyone out there doubting whether or not we're in it, you know where to send them. Bring them on over. That'd be great. I'd love to talk to them. Okay, so if you read your Bible or you're a prophecy buff, which I hope that you do both, then you understand that the time that we are living in right now is very significant. In particular, the war over in the Middle East. I say in the Middle East because it's not just isolated to one area. And as you're going to find out, if you don't already know this, everybody is on scene. I am, of course, speaking of Ezekiel 38. Oh boy, Ezekiel 38. So before I get into this, I need you guys to understand that everything is happening so very quickly that I don't even have time to write anything out so that I can stay focused and lead you guys in a proper manner where you're not, I shouldn't say proper, I should say just in a normal manner, not my normal, which is ADD ridden with lots of trains going every which way. But this is so important that I really just thought it was more important to see if you guys could follow me as I dock all the train stations in my brain and then let you guys board. Free, of course. No tickets needed. But yeah, so Ezekiel 38. If you've never read it, I definitely think that you should go and read it as soon as you can, because I firmly believe that we are smack dab in it. If you don't know what's happening, basically, there was a ceasefire agreed to, and I'd been not holding my breath, but I've been holding out all day pretty much to kind of see what was going to happen. If you saw my Facebook post this morning, it could have been this afternoon, I don't even know, but if you saw that, then you saw the post that I made about the fact that Iran is in fact in the end times. It's a big player. There's the war of Gog and Magog. I actually believe that Gog is, it's the name of a principality that is above the rulers that are in Meshach and Tubal and so on and so forth. Now, there is a prophecy in Ezekiel 38, and it's called the hook in the jaw prophecy. And basically, God in this prophecy says that the armies that will come against Israel will be turned around. They're going to go the opposite way. Okay. And then God will, like a hook in the jaw, will turn them around and bring them back to Israel. Okay. Bring them back to Israel, and they're going to be decimated. Now, here's the thing. Iran apparently gave I don't know who gave it. I don't know if Trump gave it or if Iran gave it, but it doesn't really matter. Apparently, there was supposed to be a ceasefire. Apparently, there was supposed to be 2 weeks, okay, which in my opinion, I kind of figured none of that was going to work anyway, because just knowing the religion, the Muslim religion, Islam gives a, I believe it's called taqiyya, which is where they're allowed to lie. They're allowed to lie, basically, so that way they can further the ideology. And for the sake of Islam, they can lie. And I believe that's what that was. But I mean, because when you look at what he's an IRGC dude, and he's over here talking about how how we have agreed to their 10-point plan, and that they can have enriched uranium or enriched uranium, and they can, they and I'm over here going, yeah, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. That just doesn't seem like Trump to me. Nevertheless, it didn't matter, because immediately Iran started lobbing missiles at Israel. And if Iran's not doing it, which they are, but if they're not, they're using their proxies to do it. Apparently Lebanon was also a part of the, quote, ceasefire. This was from the Pakistani prime minister. And no, because Hezbollah just immediately started lobbing missiles over there. And right now, you guys, Israel is getting barraged. There are so many missiles being lobbed over there. It's pretty crazy, actually. So, what does that mean? The hook in the jaw. Well, it means that they're going to turn away, and then everybody else is going to join in with Elam, which is that's the old world name for Iran or Iran, and they're going to all join in and sing Kumbaya. No, I'm just kidding. They're not, but I kind of wish that they would. Could you see that right now? That would be awesome. Anyways, or he's got the whole world in his hands, right? That one's a good one, a good little campfire one too. I feel like there's maybe a little bit more that we have to wait for. Russia's definitely involved, clearly, because they're allied with Iran, and they're giving them everything that they want and that they need, and so on and so forth. And listen, I could be wrong about some of this stuff, because just remember what I said. I did not do any research beyond the scope of what I'm seeing in real time. And I do like to do research on stuff just to make sure I'm getting it right. I don't always get it right, but that's my nature, is to try and try and make sure that I know what I'm talking about. However, I'm not so sure that we really have very much time for that. I think it's really important that you go and you do some of your own studies on this particular war. It's definitely end times prophecy coming to pass that either precedes our blessed hope or happens right beforehand, right before the very end, which makes sense to me. Just saying. Gosh, you guys, there's so much going on, and I'm looking at, so there are alarms all over Israel, constantly. These people are like stuck in their bomb shelters constantly. And it looks like there is no ceasefire. It looks like there is no ceasefire. It looks like that ceasefire was just nothing but Takia. Yeah, lies. And so looks like the IDF has been carrying out airstrikes in return, and it's pretty crazy. The IRGC, they have attacked Saudi Arabia, Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia, and also in Bahrain, I think, and then in the UAE, I believe, as well. One thing that I found interesting, also Qatar and Kuwait. But one thing that I find interesting is the fact that the IRGC put out a message to their civilians to go ahead and form a perimeter, a human perimeter of shields, human shields around their power stations. Yeah, around their power stations, just a bunch of dudes. Yep, there were no ladies, no kids that I saw, but yeah, a bunch of guys just standing around the power stations, ready to roll. And that should give you an idea of the fact that they have nothing to lose in their eschatology, which just basically means, the end, the afterlife, so on and so forth. They don't have anything to lose. So anybody that wants to say, we shouldn't be there, I kind of feel like maybe they're wrong. Because even if there are no nukes, even if there's no nuclear weapons, I kind of feel like, well, they can reach Israel. They can reach Israel, and because they had hope that they were going to get out from underneath this regime, which is a horrible regime. I can't help but think that this is the beginning of the hook in the jaw. They do come for spoil. That is one thing that you need to understand. There's a difference between Psalm 83 and then Ezekiel 38. Psalm 83 was different in that, oh gosh, now my brain is not working. But what I know for sure is Ezekiel 38 is for spoil. So basically, what's going to happen is they're gonna turn away. They're going to back off. But then when they come back, they're going to come back with everybody. Okay, the whole posse is going to show up, and they're going to come back with the armies from Turkey, and I'm sure Russia's going to be in there somehow helping, if not by proxy or funding something. I don't know how they could fund anything right now because they're, up to their eyeballs in Ukraine, but they are going to have Sudan, which is Boko Haram. That is the fundamental Islamic terrorist group out in the Sudan. And those aren't good guys. They're not good guys. They're pretty horrible. The things that they've done. And let's see, Sudan. My brain. Lebanon, Libya, and I know I'm forgetting. So Egypt, I believe, as well. Kush, which is Ethiopia. Yeah, they're all going to be involved. Syria, and they're all coming, and they're all going to show up at the doorstep of Israel. And they do it when Israel feels safe. And I have to tell you, there's a guy that I watch. His name is Tal. Tal Oron is his name. He has a channel, Tall the Traveling Clat, and he's kind of funny sometimes. But he actually was out in Tel Aviv, and it was interesting to see because everybody was just living, like everyone's just hanging out, living their lives. I think it was at the beach or something, and they're just hanging out, you know, grilling some hot dogs. Just kidding. They don't eat hot dogs unless they're kosher, of course. But I don't know. I mean, I just feel like right now, if there's ever a time when, I know it sounds crazy to say that because they're constantly going to their bunkers, but at the same time, they're like cool with it. Like they're all good over there. Not right at the moment because they're being absolutely just pummeled. But yeah, they're just, they're all just like hanging out, having a good time. And it's just really kind of crazy to see that. Because that's what the Bible says. The Bible says that they will have no walls and that they will be feeling, safe and secure. They will have security. So it's really interesting to see that right now. Iran has lost their minds right now. Obviously, when I talk about Iran, I'm not talking about the people of Iran, okay? So to all my Iranian friends, like, you know, just understand, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the powers that be, the principalities and the powers that be. I'm talking about those guys. They have lost it. They're out of control. And they have just, yeah, I mean, now also I was thinking about this and, you know, everybody's saying like how disappointed, not everybody, I shouldn't say that. There's other people out there that are like, you know, yeah, let's get out of there. And I'm like, but anyway, it's kind of interesting because, oh crap, I just lost my train of thought here. What was I saying? Something popped up on the Telegram and I'm looking at it. So what I was going to say is the ceasefire, like, you know, there's something to be said for using deception in war. And I know Trump just did it. He just did it with the downed pilot. If you don't know about the downed pilot, it's a really, it's a great story. I mean, I can tell you right now, they're probably going to make a movie out of it because, you know, what's that saying? No good crisis goes wasted or something like that. Don't waste a good crisis. I don't know. That must have been horrible for that dude. Could you imagine that guy? So there were two guys in an F-15 got shot down, and the call sign, the name was Dude 44. And there's two. So there's one in the front, one in the back. One in the front was the aviator, the pilot. He was a Dude 44 Alpha, and they found him. They found him pretty quickly, from what I understand. This happened on Good Friday. He was shot down on Good Friday. And then Dude 44 Beta, if I'm not mistaken, Beta, yeah, he's the backseat guy. And he's the weapons officer. He's the weapons systems officer, and he happened to also be a colonel. And so he gets, you know, he parachute. They both eject out of the F-15. They land. First one gets rescued, and Dude 44 Beta, he's injured. Okay, so he goes far away from the crash site because the Iranian television decided to go ahead and announce a reward of $60,000, which in reals is, you're like a trillionaire at that point. Their monetary system is really, really, well, it's toilet water is what, is what it is. I'm sorry. But they did that to them. They did that. So anyways, so he goes, he climbs up a mountain, 7,000 feet he climbs. He dresses his own wounds. And then he like hides in a cave. And Pete Hegseth, he's the Secretary of War. He kind of alluded to like it being like Jesus because he was cut down on a Friday and then he was in a cave, Saturday, and then on Sunday he obviously was resurrected. However, this dude, he was in a cave and he was sitting there very, very still. And then all of a sudden, director of the CIA comes in. He says, "Hey, we see him moving. We see him moving." And he was very, very still, but they could see his head moving. And then all of a sudden he started moving a lot, I guess. I don't know. And that's what Trump said. And so they got him. And he had sent a couple text messages, and the first text I don't recall what it was, but the second one was "God is good." And he was being flown home on Sunday. So with that being said, happy belated Resurrection Day. Y'all, if you know me, I don't say happy Easter because I'm not down with Ishtar. But anyway, what I found very cool was the civilians after the Iranian television media had put out this reward or whatever. It wasn't them that did it, but they announced it. A whole ton of people, civilians, came out where the crash site was, and they did a roadblock, a purposeful roadblock to make it so that the IRGC could not get through on that road. It was like the only road that could get in. And they all went out there and they, with their vehicles, which, by the way, it's hard to have a car out there, okay? Just to let you know, because it's so expensive. It is so expensive. I think I heard this one guy say that, to have a truck, just a regular pickup truck, it's something like $150,000 or something like that. I don't even know. To me, it was just so astronomical and crazy that I couldn't get my head around it. But here they are all with their cars, and they're all kind of the same cars too. So I have a feeling there's something up with that. But they created a roadblock so that they could do what they could to keep this pilot safe, as safe as possible. And I found that so amazing. And I think that's partly, that's part of why too. I'm just this is, if you are a follower of Christ, okay, it's your job. It's our job as brothers and sisters of humanity. Okay. It's our job to fight for the oppressed. Jesus told us to do it. So anyway, I thought that was a pretty amazing story. I don't know if you ever heard that about the civilians out there, but I thought that was pretty awesome. And also, you can go to my Telegram. So my Telegram, you guys, listen, I already am I have so much on my plate, and so I'm not really too interested in searching other people's Telegrams. I mean, I do have some, but most of what I get, you guys, I get it from Amir Sarfati because he's just out there, and for the most part, he's out there. And he's I trust him, I mean, I don't know him personally or anything, but I've been following this guy for a really long time. And so I trust him. He's a pastor. I feel like he, not all pastors. Let's get that straight. In fact, I'm doing a Bible study right now, and it's regarding the book of Titus, and it talks about how, pastors should be. and like doctrine and so on and so forth. And I trust him because he adheres to those things. So I'm not looking to like go and get information from 100 different sources. I do look at things, but it just makes it easier for me. I just take it and I just forward it right over to my channel. So if you want to go there and look, fine. I don't do everything that he does because I just don't think that that's necessary. But the big stuff, I'll put over there to try and save a little time. And then also, you guys can get some information on the X account that I have. And of course, I'll put all the links in the description so that you can find it. And then, of course, there's Facebook. So yeah, the other thing is, I feel like there's a call for jihad. There's always a call for jihad for whatever reason. Gee, I don't know. Could it be that maybe, 50% of Muslims want Sharia law? I don't necessarily know that that's true either, but I know that it's at least a third. It's not something that I really think is compatible with Western civilization. Nevertheless, the Bible indicates it's probably going to be a thing. So get ready for that. You can find that in Revelation for sure. But let's see. There was this 10-point peace plan, quote unquote, peace plan. And it looks like this is what it is. Okay, it's number one will be a guarantee that Iran will not be attacked again. This is from them. Permanent end to the war, not just ceasefire. End to Israeli strikes in Lebanon. Gee, why do they care about Lebanon so much? Could it be because they have proxies over there? I don't know. Maybe. I mean, yeah. Lifting of all U.S. sanctions on Iran. End to all regional fighting against Iranian allies. Iran would reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Iran would impose a $2 million fee. What? $2 million fee per ship transiting Hormuz? Okay, bro. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. I can't. No way, dude. Oh my goodness. You guys are hearing that straight up. Iran would split these fees with Oman. Okay. Iran would establish rules for safe passage through Hormuz. And Iran would use Hormuz fees for what? Reconstruction instead of reparations. I mean, let's do it. Oh boy. Let's do it, guys. I mean, for real. Like, I really think, like, yeah, they're totally not lying. They're not lying at all. Kind of like they weren't lying about the ceasefire to begin with, This is crazy. Anyway, yeah. So I got that from Sarfati. Yo, $2 million. $2 million. Oh, okay. And it's for reconstruction, though. Like, don't worry. Don't worry. I mean, we don't need it for, for anything. We just need it for reconstruction. It's awesome. Wow. Now, here's my thing. I really don't think that, Trump's going to go for that, yo. Okay. I don't see Trump actually adhering to those rules. And maybe he does, maybe he does just as a pacifier. And then all of a sudden he's just like, oh, yep, nope. About that. I don't like it. I'm not gonna do that anymore. yeah, that's crazy. So what I foresee happening is, and this is just my opinion, yo, okay? Just so you know, I think that what is going to happen is, I think Trump might be kidding. He's not gonna, follow through. He's gonna let things go for a minute, and then that's gonna give enough time for all of the armies that are surrounding Israel, like Turkey, so on and so forth, and they're gonna look at this right now as this is their shot. That's what I think is going to happen. They're going to look at this quote unquote ceasefire that really isn't a ceasefire. They are going to muster up all of their armies, and they are going to try and attack Israel, because that just makes all the sense in the world, especially if the U.S. is backing off. I mean, the Bible says that Israel will be a cup of trembling for all nations. So, I think maybe what's really going to happen is they are going to just get decimated, because they're going to back off. They're going to back off, and God said, no, I'm going to bring you back. I'm going to bring you to me, is what he says. And then they're going to get nailed. It's going to take 7 months to clean up the bodies. It's going to be chaos. So if you're over there in the Middle East and you're in one of them armies, I think you might want to consider retirement at this point. I'm just saying, dude, if you're a Muslim and you read the Quran, you need to understand that the Quran says that the Bible is real. And if the Bible is real, then the Quran is false. So that's just the way it is. But things are happening. There are so many crazy things happening. So like in Japan, oh my goodness, I wonder if I can find this. So the Japanese are so not down with this. And okay, so what's happening is, and I'm just going to be straight out with this, Muslims are coming and they are doing their 5 calls to prayer a day, but they're doing them at sites that are like very ancient and held dear to the Japanese, and they're doing it in a way where it's almost like trying to show dominance and that they're in control. And I feel like that's what happens, when they start blocking off streets, and it's a show of dominance, because the thing is that you have Japanese monks, okay? And what are they doing? Like, what are they doing? They're just kind of walking around in the gardens, just communing, right? Doing their thing silently. I don't agree with it, because it's, not Yahweh. But my point is that one is peaceful and not disruptive, and the other one is not peaceful and totally disruptive. And here you have at the Himeji Castle in Japan, which is it's survived a bombing, from what I understand, and dates back to 1333. And here there's like a whole bunch of Muslims that are deciding that they're going to do a call to prayer there. And I just feel like time and place, you know what I mean? Like, this is a sacred site to ancient Japanese culture. And I know for a fact that if some like Shinto monks or some if anybody else came in and did any sort of a ritual that was akin to their culture or their religion at the Kaaba, I'm pretty sure heads would be rolling in the literal sense. Okay. Yeah, though it's not going to happen. You're not even allowed to go to Mecca if you're not a Muslim. Okay. So I just kind of feel like the hypocrisy is a bit strong, and the Japanese aren't down with it, and I don't blame them. There was a call to prayer in Australia, Sydney, and the police weren't having it there. They just like started throwing people around. They're like, nope, not going to do it. Not happening here. Christians in Lebanon resist the Islamic regime and celebrate Easter. No kidding. I am watching these guys. They are riding through on their motorcycles and their mopeds and their ATVs with crosses on their backs. That's cool. I'll go ahead and repost that so that you guys can see that, because that's pretty cool. I like that. I like seeing that. Something tells me they're not going to join the coalition that goes against Israel. Let's see what else. There's so much. So much. I just think, you guys, if you don't know what's going on, you need to research it, because Ezekiel 38, I really think that we're in it. Senior Israeli official says the U.S. coordinated in advance with Israel the temporary ceasefire. This is a move in which Iran opens the Strait of Hormuz without receiving in advance any of its demands, such as a commitment to a final end to the war, compensation, lifting of heavy sanctions against it, and more. Senior Trump administration officials made it clear to Israel that during the negotiations to be held in the next 2 weeks, the U.S. will firmly insist on the removal of nuclear material, cessation of enrichment, cancellation of ballistic missile threat, and more. These are our shared goals of Israel and the U.S. It says Iran has backed down from its demands and surrendered to the demand to open the straits under the massive crushing of the regime's infrastructure since the outbreak of the war, and even more in recent days. Let's see. So this came from Amir, of course. He says, allow me to add, all of the above is complete and utter nonsense, meant to make this blatant capitulation more palatable to Israelis. Well, like I said, deception is a thing, which is what I was saying about the downed pilot. There was deception that said something to the effect of that he had already been rescued, so that way the people that were, ready to go hunting for him, they wouldn't do it, because then there was no point to. So certain types of deception are applicable, I believe, in war. Anyway, Esther did it, right? So I want to read this. There are bans on Sharia law in, I think it's 7 states. DeSantis just banned it. Excuse me. So I want to read this to you, and I want you to know that it was written May 6th of 2011, and this is from the ACLU, okay? It says, in a disturbing trend, anti-Muslim bigotry has recently crept into state legislatures around the country. Several states have passed or attempted to pass laws designed to prevent courts from applying Islamic or, quote, Sharia law, as well as foreign or international law. Some, such as a constitutional amendment passed in Oklahoma, mention Sharia specifically in addition to international law. Others only mention foreign or international law. Whatever the specific terminology, all of these attempts raise serious red flags. Efforts to single out Muslims and to advance the ugly idea that anything Islamic is un-American are unjust and discriminatory and should be rejected. Okay, stop. So, first of all, to my Muslim friends out there, this isn't about you as a Muslim. This is about the ideology that sits right at the heart of Islam. And that is rooted right out of the Quran. It comes right out of the Quran. And it is something that just doesn't mesh with Western civilization, period. And the reason why is because we here in the West have laws that demand justice for murdering anybody, whether that's your mother or your daughter or your sister, because, regardless of the reason, you're just not allowed to do it. And under Sharia law, you are. So that's the problem. Okay. The problem is that under Sharia law, if you go ahead and decide that you are going to strap some, TNT to your body and then go ahead and hike through an airport terminal, for instance, which won't happen, but anymore. But there are some things that have changed that have made that possible now. Just saying. Again, you go to a church or you go somewhere to do that and take yourself out. You've got nothing to lose, and that's why. So understand that this is not about you as a Muslim individual. This is about the ideology that sits right at the heart of Islam. And that's all it is. Okay. It has nothing to do with, you could be a great person. You could be amazing. Most Muslims that I know, they're wonderful people, but they also believe that what the Quran says is truth. And what the Quran says is that technically they should be either charging me a jizya tax to be who I am and to believe the way I believe, or they should kill me. That's just the bottom line. It's black and white, and that's just what it says. Oy. So, anyway, moving on. Laws that single out Sharia violate the First Amendment. Again, no, it doesn't. Because our First Amendment, it's well, okay, look, you could say whatever you want to say. That's the First Amendment. Okay, but that's where it stops. Full stop, right there. It says it's laws that single out Sharia violate First Amendment by treating one belief system as suspect. Well, okay. I'm just going to say that, like, look at the attacks. Just look at the stats, dude. Just look at the stats. You can't really, like, if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, I kind of like, I think it's a duck. I do. I really think it's a duck. Attempts to prevent courts from considering international or foreign law suffer from constitutional flaws and undermine the ability of courts to interpret laws and treaties regarding global business, international human rights, and family law issues such as international marriages and adoptions. Don't even get me started on the marriages. Okay? I just watched a whole bunch of people go off and sell their daughters in Afghanistan. Okay? 9 years old. So don't even get me started on that. Moving on. Although the ACLU successfully challenged the Oklahoma law, leading a federal court to strike down the amendment and prevent its implementation, the trend to implement these misguided bans is not slowing down. Some politicians have taken up the unfounded idea that American Muslims somehow wish to impose Islamic law on U.S. courts as a campaign issue. Oh boy. New York City, anyone? Just saying. Other politicians seek to score political points by demonizing anything foreign or international. We continue to monitor policies at the state and federal levels closely to ensure that discrimination is not written into the law of the land and that the U.S. upholds its obligations under domestic and international law. Yes, I do believe that we should ensure that discrimination is not written into the law of the land. However, I also think that we really need to be careful about letting anything else sneak in that can overshadow the law of the land, period. Okay? So I don't believe in demonizing anybody, right? Like that's not the goal, but we are a sovereign country and we need to understand that we had to fight to get here, right? We had to fight to become free, and that living under a certain ideology of Sharia law makes us not free. Period. You're not free. You're not free to wear what you're wearing. You're not free to go outside and do what you want to do, okay, without your husband or your father or your brother. You're not, if you're a woman, if you're female, you're not free to wear colors in some of these countries. Like you're not free. So, and in Dearborn, no. There are people who have like disappeared and nobody's heard from them, and they don't care because everything down there is completely run by Sharia law. Let's see, what else can we find? Gosh, there's so much going on. So CNN witnesses desperate Afghan parents selling daughters. They're forced to sell their young daughters to survive. That's insane. They're like 9 years old. I mean, do you really want that? Do you want that? No, I don't want that for my country. Right now, Great Britain's in trouble. Apparently, the king decided that he would hold an iftar, if you don't know what that is in Islam, they're having a feast to break Ramadan. And he did it in Windsor Castle. And this would be for the second year in a row. And then chose not to say anything for Resurrection Sunday. He chose not to acknowledge the resurrection of Christ, who swore an oath in 3 parts. The first part is to govern in compliance with the laws and customs of the people. And the second part is to govern justly. And the third is to uphold Protestant Christianity and the rights of the Church of England. The people out in England are not happy people. They are not happy people. I am so sorry to my friends over in the UK. I am so very sorry. Kevin Sorbo, wasn't he like the Beastmaster? Was he the Beastmaster back in the 80s or early 90s or something? Anyway, he's a Christian actor, Kevin Sorbo. I'm sure, like if you're older, you'd probably recognize him. But France right now, he posted about France. Yo, This is insane. France is burning. France is insane. I don't know why, but I'm going to go ahead and post that on my X account. It says, yeah, they're I'm going to turn this sound on real quick. See what this sounds like. So, hold on one second. Here we go. Yeah, they're breaking down. Wow, there's cars tipped over. Cars are tipped over. Cars on fire. Wow. Cars are on fire. The streets are on fire. And you can obviously hear, yeah, so it's apparently there's a protest. Let's see, on another note, we've got Mohseni Ijai. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I'm very sorry, but he's the head of the IRGC judiciary, and he has issued an order to accelerate executions and confiscate the property of quote-unquote enemy agents. Yeah, because why not? I mean, he knows they're in trouble. I don't know. It's crazy. A little bit ago, I had mentioned New York City Mayor Mamdani. Oh boy, this guy. So essentially what he is doing is he has decided to try and implement a tax law. Basically, what's he calling it? The racial equity something or another. But what he's doing is he's taking the wealth of white households, this is what he said, white households, into consideration because the median is $200,000, while that of a black household is $20,000. And so what he's doing is he's saying that the people that live in quote-unquote rich white neighborhoods, I mean, I kind of feel like that is in and of itself, like you're saying that people of color do not live in rich neighborhoods. I mean, that's just stupid. But nevertheless, this is what he says. He's going to shift the tax burden from overtaxed homeowners in the outer boroughs to more expensive homes in the richer and whiter neighborhoods. The property tax system is unbalanced because assessment levels are artificially capped. So, yeah, he wants to, instead of taxing people, based on property taxes alone, it's going to add some color in there. Wow. Man, it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time before things just, things are already out of control, let's be real. But this dude is totally discriminating against race. I just think that's crazy. Nobody sees it? Am I the only one? Trump says that he's going to slap a 50% tariff on anybody that supplies weapons to Iran. So I can't imagine that's going to make Russia too happy, but I don't think they were happy to begin with. So whatever. Cry me a river. I don't know, guys. I'm going to keep trying to do what I can here, but my brain is not equipped to focus if I can't write things down. And then I feel bad for you guys, because then you guys, like I said, you have to get on that train, and sometimes it loses its track. It can be a bumpy ride. Nevertheless, I'm going to just go ahead and end it here. And as things progress, I will go ahead and put out some more. But yeah, that's it for right now, guys. And until next time, this is Brianna signing off, saying God bless.